Normally, foreign policy is not a decider of elections. And I think that will be the case this year, too. But foreign policy will be important. Of course, there's a war in Ukraine, and that has gotten a lot of attention. In particular, it gets a lot of attention lately because there is a difference between Democrats and Republicans on the war in Ukraine. And there are many Republicans who are against providing support to Ukraine. That's why it was so hard to get this latest appropriations bill through Congress that provided the U.S. with the authority and the funding to continue to provide weapons to Ukraine so it can defend itself against the illegal attack by Russia. So I think that will be an issue, especially because there is also a big difference between President Biden and former President Trump on the issue of Ukraine. And people know that President Trump is against the war. He says he'll stop the war in a day. But I think if he were to become president, he would find out how intractable Russia is on the war in Ukraine and its intentions to occupy and to ultimately try to take over all of Ukraine. There are other issues as well. China is a big issue, and I expect in the debates, for instance, there will be debate between Trump and Biden on who's tougher on China. The reality is that the policy of Biden on China didn't change a lot from the policy on Trump, although one key difference that I think President Biden would speak about during a debate is how he has been able to get a number of Asian countries in the Asia-Pacific region to be closer allies to the U.S., and that's an important way to push back against China. President Trump likes to go on his own. When he was president, he didn't put a lot of emphasis on our alliances, either in the Asia region or in Europe, for instance. And I think NATO, finally, will also be a big issue. President Trump is not a big supporter of NATO. President Biden has used NATO effectively, particularly in terms of getting support for Ukraine against the war and the invasion by Russia.